Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining me is Craig Cecilio, founder and CEO of DiversyFund, to discuss why investors should look at alternative investments despite the recent historic market milestones. Craig, it's great to have you with us. Welcome to Trade Talks.
Great. It's great being here. Thank you.
And Craig, you have worked with high net worth and institutional investors that invest in private markets for close to 2 decades. Explain to the audience what alternative investments are.
Well, alternative investments is the basic word alternative. It's different than typical investments such as stocks, bonds, savings accounts, cash. So these are investments that the general public may not be too familiar with. They're usually for the accredited investors, for sophisticated investors. There's code names for that, for the wealthy at the end of the day.
What should the retail investor know before putting their money into these types of investments?
Well, first of all, there needs to be a lot of financial literacy involved. You have to look at the individual themselves specifically, and what are your goals? Are you looking for long-term growth opportunities? Are you looking for cash flow? So I always recommend talking to an advisor first. And what we've done was we're able to do it where you could break it down to you can invest as low as $500 minimum. So really democratize that wealth building process for people. So I would really say the first thing I would do is talk to your financial advisor, look at your overall financial goals before you do it, and then we have a tool great for you.
And where are the best areas to look when considering private market investments, and how can investors get involved in private equity and real estate funds as examples?
Yeah, I mean, what we just transpired with this last year, the pandemic, we've just the digital age has just fast forwarded about 5 years. So now all of this is available online for the first time. And this really opens it up to everybody. You can make these decisions instead of calling your broker. You can just go online. You can download an app. It's just phenomenal opportunities for everyone nowadays to get involved with this. So I understand that a lot of people might not be aware of this, but there's so much online to read about nowadays and so many opportunities for everybody.
Let's talk about DiversyFund and where it fits into the alternative investment ecosystem. You had mentioned before that people can get involved with as little as $500. So how does that work? Do you pool it in one place? How would an investor go about this?
Yeah, you kind of think of it as doing like little tiny shares, and you're doing it as a pool of people coming together. And this is kind of the advent of technology being advanced over the years, combined with the recent regulation from the last downturn in 2012 from the Jobs Act with the new regulations. We combined both together to allow this opportunity for everyone. So that really took that barrier from millions of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars. We knocked that down to $500. So really allowed this opportunity. That just kind of levels the whole playing field.
Yeah, it certainly does. And Craig, let me throw one more question at you. So typically, if you were to get into a real estate investment, the traditional alternative investment, high net worth individual, you have a certain threshold of liquidity that you have to have. Typically, the assets themselves aren't liquid. It's not something you can get in and out of like a stock. So when you have pooled resources like DiversyFund, is liquidity more available? Is it easier to get in and out of positions?
Yeah, they're illiquid investments. They're for the long haul. They're for forced appreciation of those assets themselves. So you need to really kind of look at your overall financial portfolio or financial picture and what percentage of that can you put aside for the long-term growth. When you have a savings account, the word savings is save. You're not supposed to go to that to do your day-to-day activities. That would be your checking account. And so if you look at that and people go, oh, hey, this is illiquid. This is, I might not be able to do this. Then you kind of look at it from another perspective as, hey, we're just saying you have minimums of $500, so you could get started with this investment to build your portfolio up. So I look at where are you in that socioeconomic ladder. Let's look at your overall entire portfolio. What percentage can I realistically start doing this? And if you look at that, this is how the wealthy really build wealth, generational wealth, decade over decade. And now we're able to do this, like I said, through technology and offer that to everyone.
All great points, Craig. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks, and thanks for joining me. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.
Great. Thank you. Appreciate it.